Tonight, South Australia prepares for its first taste of winter, and police officers allegedly threatened with a syringe during a foot pursuit in Broken Hill.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening, everyone. South Australia is set for its first taste of wintry weather this week, with wet and windy conditions set to lash the region. Heavy falls are expected, giving farmers an ideal start to the cropping season.
A winter storm brewing on the west coast. Rain, hail and thunderstorms all predicted to sweep across the region this week.
Showers will extend from the west on Tuesday, reaching central parts around midday and eastern border districts late in the afternoon and evening.
A cold front expected to reach the Eyre Peninsula by midweek will have locals rugged up, with multiple days sitting below 20 degrees.
Small hail will develop about the west coast of the Eyre Peninsula on Wednesday afternoon, then extend to the remaining agricultural areas.
It's the first burst of cold conditions for the season, with Thursday's maximum temperature only reaching a chilly 17 degrees. The winter storm bringing with it more rain. Good news for our farmers who've just started sowing their crops.
We've forecast for more showers on Wednesday this week. If we could be lucky enough to pick up another 10 mils, we'd be very, very happy.
Last week's downpour leaving many farmers on a high.
Oh, beautiful rain. It's been the first rain we've had for the year, really. But we had 8 mils, followed by another 15 mils 2 days later.
Showers should clear on Friday, but are expected to linger on into the weekend. Isolated thunderstorms and severe wind gusts are also expected to lash the region.
We're expecting windy conditions starting in the west on Wednesday, but then extending throughout the state on Thursday. Thursday will be quite a cold and windy day.
Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Broken Hill man has allegedly threatened police with a syringe following a foot chase in the city south. Officers were forced to use their tasers to bring the offender under control. Patrick Ranke has the details.
At around 7:30, police visited a Piper Street home looking for a man wanted for outstanding warrants. Officers were invited to search the property when it's alleged he ran out the back door.
Police did chase him as he jumped a few fences into a few different backyards. He was confronted in a laneway off Piper Street when he produced a syringe and threatened the officers with the syringe.
Police tried to use pepper spray to control him, but it had no effect. It's alleged he then ran again before stopping and threatening officers with the syringe a second time. Police forced to fire their taser.
It wasn't effective at that time. He did run off again. They managed to stop him again in a backyard of a home where he has picked up a scooter and threatened them with the scooter.
Another taser shot was effective, with 4 officers needed to arrest him. He was taken to the Broken Hill Police Station and was charged with a number of offences.
Assault occasioning actual bodily harm, domestic violence related, as well as an outstanding revocation of parole warrant, 2 counts of assault police, 1 count of resist arrest, and also using a weapon to avoid apprehension.
No officers were injured during the incident. The man was refused bail and will reappear in Broken Hill Court in June.
The 16-year ban on growing genetically modified crops in South Australia is coming to an end, with the state government and opposition striking a deal this afternoon. Local councils will be able to apply to become a GM crop-free zone if concerns are raised. Following approval, eligible farmers will be able to prepare for next year's season. Primary Industries Minister Tim Whetstone has described the breakthrough as a historic day for grain growers. We'll have more reaction to this in tomorrow night's bulletin. A Port Lincoln man will face court after allegedly being found with cannabis plants. Just before 3 last Thursday, police attended a Passat Street house. After searching the premises, it's alleged 14 cannabis plants were found in the backyard of the property. A 21-year-old man was reported for cultivating cannabis and will face court at a later date. Anyone with information about the production and sale of the drug is urged to call Crime Stoppers. A 26-year-old man and 38-year-old woman will face court after a raid on a property in Whyalla. Police attended a Whyalla Stewart address around 10:30 yesterday morning, allegedly finding 33 grams of methamphetamine and cash.
Police located a snake enclosure and enlisted the assistance of a snake catcher to remove the snakes so that police could complete the search.
Police also allegedly located drug paraphernalia and stolen jewellery at a Wyler Playford address. Both offenders were charged with trafficking a controlled drug and will appear in court at a later date. 3 teenagers have been arrested after allegedly breaking into a Port Lincoln sports club last week. It's alleged the youths forced their way into the Ravendale Oval Club at 10:30 last Thursday, stealing drinks. Following investigations, police arrested 2 boys aged 14 and 15 on Friday, before arresting a 17-year-old on Monday. They were all charged with aggravated serious criminal trespass and theft, and were bailed to appear in the Port Lincoln Youth Court in July. South Australian dental clinics have opened their doors to more patients after the state government eased treatment restrictions. Practices will function at level 2 restrictions, meaning locals can get their yearly teeth clean again.
For this Whyalla dental clinic, the past 4 weeks have been a stressful time for the owner and her staff.
It was kind of surreal, trying to work out how to share everyone's load. Some people are on their own, so they financially needed hours more than others.
These quiet patient rooms meant the clinic had to reduce staff hours in order to survive.
I have my staff on skeleton staff, so we tried to share hours between us so no one lost their jobs.
With dental clinics now allowed to operate at level 2 restrictions, the pressure has started to ease.
We're allowed to treat patients not just for emergencies. If they've broken their tooth or they feel like they need something checked, they're allowed to come in. We're not allowed to provide any treatment that can create an aerosol.
It's important for us all to realise that moving back from level 3 to level 2 is not moving back to business as usual.
This dental clinic, like many around the region, can only have 3 patients in the waiting room at a time and follow a strict screening process for every patient that calls up to make an appointment.
If you're at moderate or high risk, you're not allowed to make an appointment unless it's urgent treatment, where you may even be deferred to an oral surgeon in Adelaide.
Sophia Conchagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, local Army veterans encouraged to take part in a new university study on PTSD. And the Clare Oval upgrade receives a major funding boost. Welcome back. Flinders University's post-traumatic stress clinic are trialling new therapies to help military members, veterans and first responders. Eligible participants will receive up to 25 individual sessions with a trained therapist.
For many on the front line, post-traumatic stress disorder can affect all aspects of their lives.
There are other symptoms in terms of problems with concentration or being more irritable than usual or just being a bit on guard. And unfortunately, people get used to those reactions.
For over 15 years, Professor Reg Nixon has conducted PTSD treatment trials at Flinders University. Now, the university is trialling how their cognitive processing therapy can be more effective.
Unfortunately, approximately 50% sometimes of individuals won't make the gains that we would like to see. So this particular project's around making that therapy more personalised.
They're looking for people to take part in a trial.
We're hoping to get at least 30-35 people for both of our projects. So we started these projects last year, and we have about 20 in one and about 10 in another. So we would like to definitely increase that.
Those living in regional towns are invited to take part.
Both of our projects can be done remotely, so people can work online. They access their therapist through video conferencing or telephone if that's easier. And anyone in Australia can access our projects at the moment.
Anyone interested in undertaking the therapy can do so by contacting the university at 8201 5995.
What we're really hoping with these projects is that we're going to make a significant difference for those who have actually put a lot on the line for our country.
If you or anyone you know needs help, please contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A Port Lincoln man has lost his licence on the spot after he was allegedly caught drink driving more than 3 times the legal limit. It's understood police spotted the white Volkswagen utility parked on Flinders Highway just before 2 on Saturday morning. Police say the driver sped off down the road but was quickly pulled over. The 52-year-old man was submitted to a breath test. He allegedly returned a blood alcohol level of 0.173. He'll appear in court at a later date. Consumers are being urged to secure their debit and credit cards as major retailers across the region increase tap and go limits. With many shop owners now offering a $200 limit, authorities say they're a target for opportunistic thieves. The new limits were designed to reduce physical contact during the COVID-19 pandemic. Police are encouraging people to treat cards like a large sum of cash and secure it in a handbag or wallet. Broken Hill councillors are preparing to come together for their monthly meeting tomorrow night, the second one to be conducted electronically. But one councillor believes they should be back in the local chambers.
Swapping the meeting room for an online forum. The Silver Cities councillors will hold their regular meeting on Wednesday night, but they'll be operating through an online streaming service. However, Councillor Tom Kennedy believes Broken Hill should be exempt from ministerial recommendations and allowed to meet face-to-face.
It's very difficult to actually have a well-debated council meeting via Zoom or any of the other electronic medias they use.
The Mayor says councillors won't lose their voice.
We're watching how people put their hands up. We'll have extra eyes on deck so we don't lose people. So in terms of, that I can see that they want to speak to a motion.
Councillor Kennedy is also planning to move a motion to keep local elections in September of this year. The Mayor, however, says the pandemic has changed the situation.
If you were thinking of running for an election, you would not be prepared to run by September. We are in lockdown. You cannot participate in democracy.
I think that it's a very poor and weak argument if councillors put forward that they don't have enough time to campaign and members of the community wouldn't have enough time to get it together.
A mayoral minute will also be tabled calling on the state government to provide stimulus to local governments. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Upgrades to Clare Valley's Oval Precinct are a step closer to reality, with the state government committing funds to the project. Clare sports members welcoming the good news amid the postponement of the footy season.
Once lacking, soon to be leading, this is what the future looks like for Clare Oval.
$880,000 has been committed by the state government, and that's going to go towards building a whole new facility and modernising this whole precinct.
Committee members are ecstatic with the announcement, which has been 7 years in the making. They say it will be a draw card for the region.
Most used in regional South Australia. There's 2 clubs here plus netball and a lot of other activities here.
Opportunities with regard to not only state but also national competitions.
New umpire facilities are among the many changes to the historic venue.
Going to be demolished and one purpose-built facility is going to be installed, which includes a new clubhouse, new canteen and bar facilities, 4 new change rooms, unisex compliant change rooms.
Members say these facilities dating back to the 50s were in desperate need of replacing.
500-600 members, and plus that's only the football club. The netball club's probably got the same. So there's a lot of our club are going to really benefit from this redevelopment.
It's a ray of sunlight in what's been a dark year for local footy, with the league postponed until further notice. The club confident it can survive.
Direction on where we need to go, we'll move forward. But our clubs, we've got a really strong club, and we'll come through this.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. We meet the Port Lincoln photographer capturing life during the lockdown. And Port Augusta's library gets creative to ensure locals can still receive books. While many of us are stuck in self-isolation, one Port Lincoln photographer has made it her mission to capture life during the pandemic. The Driveway Project, a worldwide movement to document how our lives have changed during COVID-19.
For little Harvey and Orlando Cassiotis, it's a very special day, celebrating their first birthday in a very unexpected way. Under strict isolation rules, they can't have a party, instead capturing the moment through a camera lens.
Yeah, very special. I think I wanted something to remember their first birthday by, with photos, I guess, that they can look back on and that we actually did something.
Port Lincoln photographer Lisa Whittle snapping the boys' party while maintaining social distance.
You're going to look back at these photos in years' time, and even grandkids will look back at them and go, oh wow, that's when I was stuck in isolation.
Besides running her own business, Elisa has also joined a global movement aimed to capture families in isolation. The Driveway Project documenting how daily life has changed.
I'd seen lots of photographers doing it and I love documentary stuff, so it was, I decided that I'd document this time for other families.
Elisa has captured 21 different families with another 20 to go, each picture telling a unique story.
People with zip lines set up in their backyard. I've had trampolines, kids love the trampolines.
But for this first birthday, it was business as usual, with Mum baking 2 separate cakes.
Yeah, made the cakes, so it'll be good fun to let them at it and do a cake smash, so they call it.
A special birthday party they'll no doubt remember for years to come. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Great idea. Regional Development Australia is launching a new job match program in the York and Mid-North regions. The initiative is in response to hundreds of residents losing employment amid the coronavirus crisis.
Job stress has never been so prominent, with hundreds of regional residents losing work and income due to the coronavirus pandemic.
It grew from an informal thing to the idea that we would be able to structure that and to keep a register of people who had been displaced in the region.
Regional Development Australia has a new program in place for York Mid-North residents to help those who need it most.
Had 1 or 2 jobs that were new to them during the changing conditions, and were really interested in how they could be matched with people who were displaced from work.
Some residents are already reaping the benefits, with local companies getting involved.
Through support from Near Star, they actually developed 6 new positions that have been specifically created for people in the community who have lost their job.
Types of jobs that we've already filled come from the meat processing industry, but also come from security and increased changes that come about through social distancing.
Experts say while losing a job can be daunting, they're encouraging community members to remain positive and consider a career change.
In changing their career path, or this has prompted them to think differently about how they might work locally and in the workforce. Absolutely happy for that to occur.
More information can be found online. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Like many other places of leisure around Port Augusta, the local library has been forced to close. But staff are continuing to serve the community, launching a drop-and-wave service to keep the pages turning over.
Port Augusta's library staff are working different compared to normal as they try to keep the books flowing to local homes.
Yep, so we take them out to your house. We generally drop them at the front door and we'll give you a phone call as we're dropping them off to let you know that they're there and you can pick them up.
The drop and wave delivery service delivers books to the front door.
I'm very happy because I was getting them from next door and I've just started and I love reading, so I'm very happy about it.
That's good, very, very good. Same as go down there. Only thing is we can't pick our own books, but still, we usually get some good books.
Staff say it's been a popular service, delivering to an average of 10 houses per day.
They've all been really positive. I noticed in the returns today we've got a nice little thank you card from one of our borrowers. It's been a lot of positive feedback, so yeah, people are really happy to receive their stuff.
They're hoping their service will help those trapped indoors during the pandemic.
So particularly important for those people who are in social isolation, who don't have a lot of else to do and contact and stuff. So yeah, it's giving them something to do, keeping them active.
Those interested in the service can contact the library. Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Britt will join us with the latest weather forecast as our region prepares for a deluge. Those details next. Hello again. To the weather now, and as you heard earlier, the region is bracing for a cold, wet and windy spell over the next few days. Here's Britt with the details.
Thanks, John, and good evening. It was unseasonably warm at Broken Hill today, reaching 27 degrees, which is 5 degrees above average. Elsewhere, a little cooler, Woodna 24 today, Port Lincoln 23, Kadina 20, Port Pirie 19, Port Augusta and Whyalla both 18 degrees. To today's skies with a band of cloud cutting across the Gulf, delivering some showers. More wet weather on the way, courtesy of that cold front and trough currently sitting to our west. Taking a look now at your Wednesday, a couple of warnings in place with a strong wind warning for the Spencer Gulf and a warning to sheep graziers for the west coast, lower and eastern Eyre peninsulas, York Peninsula, Flinders and mid-north forecast districts. On the Gulf waters, winds north to northwesterly at 10 to 15 knots with seas at 1 to 2 metres. Showers expected across the region tomorrow, Port Lincoln looking at a top of 17 degrees, Clare 15, Woodna 16. Possible heavy falls at Whyalla, 18 the top, Port Augusta also 18, Kadina 17. Possible heavy falls about the mid-north, a top of 17 at Port Pirie, Clare 13, Broken Hill rain and 21. More showers expected on Thursday, most likely in the morning and afternoon, with a possible thunderstorm or small hail early on in the day. Maximum sitting in the teens across the board. Friday, more showers, but remaining dry about Broken Hill and the west coast. Saturday, showers about the lower and eastern Eyre peninsulas, the York Peninsula and the mid-north. Fine and partly cloudy at Woodna, Port Augusta and Broken Hill. And John, that brings me to the end of this very wet forecast.
Great isolation and farming weather. Thanks, Britt. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we'll be back again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Have a great evening. Good night.